Like when we decide to cut ourselves off from a lot of external influences that are distracting, the influences that kind of take us away from our objectives in life, right? They're not necessarily adding. That's when we can become the best version of ourselves. When we get focused. And I mean, that means throwing away sex. That means throwing away alcohol. That means throwing away drugs. That means throwing away any distraction, going out all the time, always being around certain people. Like sometimes just throwing away these things, not because necessarily they're bad, not because they're necessarily bad things. I'm not going to say any of these things are necessarily bad, but what I'm going to say is that they're distracting. They take time away from what you can be really pouring into yourself, into building yourself up spiritually, into building yourself up mentally, into finding a space for you to inhabit that's positive for you. Like yesterday, I was on my story, I was talking about having this space, this mental space, go-to mental space. You gotta have a go-to mental space, a space that you go to every time you feel down, every time you feel negative, every time you feel like something's wrong. This is a space that you immediately go to because you know this space can bring you out of it. It's this memory, it's this thought, it's this feeling that you've learned to internalize. That it comes from inside out, and that's joy. That's when you finally tap into joy, because you realize there's something inside of you that can actually make you feel better, that will then turn everything around you into a better perception. It makes everything around you look better, no matter how dark it gets. And for me, it was God. Like for me, it was literally just honing in on the fact that, dang, God, I was 6 years old and I was supposed to die. I was 13 years old and I was supposed to die. Here I am, and I'm 25 and I haven't died yet. Why? And it's like, oh, you got purpose. And then I think back to all like little notes. Like I've done something really weird. Like over the last 2-3 years, I've kept all the positive notes anybody has written me. Like I've kept them. Like I have them. Like from my students, from my friends, from mentors, anything that people have said positive, I've kept it in some way, shape, or form. And I've like have them. And it's for me, like I can go back to that space. I can remember that. Obviously, I have purpose because I'm impacting these lives. These lives are telling me, like, these are people telling me, like, you've done this for me, or, hey, your energy is this. And I'm like, this is where I want to stay. I want to be here. Like, I know I'm going to go through bad things. I know things are going to get rough. I know it's not always going to be easy. But at least I'm going to have a place that I can go that's going to make me feel better. And it gives me the strength to keep going. I have that person I can go to. That person is God. Like I can always, no matter what, go to God and be like, yeah, God, this is what's going on. What should I do? How should I behave? You know, maybe I just got to sit in it for a minute. Maybe God's like, I need you to sit in it because you're missing the lesson. There's a lesson in here for you. And I need you to sit in here just for a moment, not too long. Just sit in it for a minute. Grab that lesson and then start moving again. And maybe it's not even sitting in it. Maybe it's slowing down. Maybe it's slowing down and going through it a little slowly, a little less fast, so that you can pick up on the small signals God is sending you through this storm, through this time, and then boom. Next thing you know, you feel 1,000% better. You just feel 1,000% better. And like that's truly, truly, truly where I want myself to be, and I want everybody around me to be.